Y'all want another one? Yeah! Sound like someone said no. You want another one? Yeah! There's one dude over there like, no, fuck no. Listen, since you rushed me on the last song, I gotta tell you this fucking story. And then we'll play it. This last song, we hope you felt the energy in it. It's a song that's made about choosing to love each other more. The song's sorry. It's a song that's made about being willing to fight for each other. Being willing to stand in front of somebody when they're receiving something they shouldn't. Being a shield. The song was written about my grandfather. My grandfather's a guy named Donald Harrison Sr., Big Chief Donald Harrison Sr. Yeah, if you know, cool. He's the only man in America to be a chieftain of 4 different tribes of black Indians. And yeah, you can clap for that, too. And so my uncle has been chief for maybe 30 years, and then 2 years ago I became chief. And this song was really written in that moment. I started to think about something that my grandfather taught me when I was a little boy, something we went through. My granddad would do something really strange every day. He would go, every few weeks he would come into the house and he would take all of the food out of the house. And when you're small, you don't know what's normal or not. You just think, okay, he's taking the food out. Cool. Years passed by, maybe 8 years. It took me about 8 years to muster up the courage to ask the chief what he was doing. And when I asked him, he made me do it. He said, go get this big bag, this massive canvas bag, fill it with all your mother's food, your aunt's food, your uncle's food, and meet me on the corner of Design Galleries. That's in the 9th Ward, my neighborhood. And I'm little, I'm 8 years old, and I'm dragging this bag. This is the heaviest thing I've ever dragged in my life, really heavy. And when I got to the corner, what I saw changed my life. I started to see everyone in my neighborhood, my community, all of these people leave their homes and start to line up for this food. He started to go in the bag and give the food away, ration it off. First it was elderly people, people that are in their 70s, 80s, 90-year-old people. No one cares that they eat, no one cares that they bathe, no one cares that they live or die. Then children showed up, full families. A husband's got 2 jobs, a wife has a job, and they still don't have enough money to feed their babies. And so after giving all of that food away, I started to walk home, and he told me, no, we got to go to the next neighborhood. And from the 9th Ward, he did it again in the 8th Ward. Picked up all this food, gave it out. The 7th Ward, picked up all this food, gave it out. 6th Ward, 5th Ward, 3rd Ward, all the way to the 17th Ward in New Orleans. This old man walked and fed the entire city. Now, in that moment, I understood why they called him chief. It was clear to me. But I was upset because I was 8 years old and I had to carry the bag. Right? So I got home and he could tell that I hadn't learned the lesson. So he said to me, if you see someone going through something as difficult as hunger, if you see someone is hungry, it's not a question you should ask yourself to feed them. If you can, feed them. You see someone is being mistreated because they're born in a different land. If you see someone is being mistreated because they speak a different language, or they are a different color, or they they have a different feeling about theology and where God is. If you see someone is being mistreated because they're gay, or they do not gender identify in a binary. This is really heavy stuff for a person that is a tribal leader to tell someone. When we think of tribe, we always think about us versus them. He would say, this is not the purpose of tribe. If a tribe makes you blind to other people, then it's not a tribe. That's a mob. This is different. A tribe considers and tries to understand. Now when he's saying these things to me, I'm small and I hadn't lived enough to understand. Now, what we're talking about is what you can communicate to someone. Giving someone food is a communication. It's simple examples like you, sir. Let's say we meet each other outside and we have, how you doing, brother? All right. Let's say we meet outside, and we're having a conversation. And the conversation is going fine, and maybe small things we disagree on. And in the middle of the conversation, I start to talk to you like this. Now, in that moment, we could completely agree. But now your ego feels the need to defend itself. So now you and I are at odds, nemesis. So in this same conversation, if we're talking, and I start to talk to you this way, and I start to tell you something about my past and my history, you have to listen harder. It makes you commit and connect differently. The point is about tactics we can all use to communicate better. Everyone knows, you walk around in the street, and what to me what's beautiful about Paris is I see all of these rainbows of colors and context and nations and people. That's a beautiful idea to me. For people to be able to get along in a space like this, we all know African Americans look at this place as being one of the few places they can go in the world where they will actually be respected as a human being. That doesn't mean everything that you're doing is right. It just means it's better than other places. But the point is, how do we create the world that we want to give our little ones? How do we stop accepting these single stories of entire people, singular narratives? You understand when I say that, what I mean? Yes. So it's time to protect each other. It's time to be shields for each other. We know what the world looks like if you continue to build with hate. If you continue to build with what's mine, what's yours. This idea is not useful. You are seeing what happens with destroying the world because everyone wants to own it. It's not ours. We are each other's. Does everyone understand that? Yeah. The planet is not ours. But right now, I'm sharing this time with you. You are alive at the same time as I am. We are each other's. So if we can invest in this energy as opposed to the bigoted and hateful things that are coming out of our political, social, and cultural spaces, then I think that we finally build the world that we all talk about. So that's what that song is about. I hope you fucking felt it, because we meant it. We all know how famous the New Morning is for jazz. Now, we've been playing stretch music all night and doing some different things with it. So now we're going to play some jazz. Now you'll finally get to hear a little Herbie Hancock. Eye of the Hurricane. One, two. Logan Richardson, Fonville, Weedie Braimah. All right, y'all. I'm Chief Adjuah. See y'all next time. Thank y'all.